Sudarshan, remind me what year you're going to this year?
I'm going to my fourth year at the University of Virginia in
What? You're
Charlottesville.
going to be a senior?
Yes. Yes. We've actually passed all 4 years of college.
I've known
And
Sudarshan for a long time now, and it just doesn't feel. I'm processing that as you just said that in real time. Welcome to Live Vedanta, a podcast about simple living and high thinking. We're amidst a mini series on the meaningful transitions that have transformed us. And it has been so cool to hear from so many of you about how these stories are resonating, are relating to your own life. This week, we're hearing from Sudarshan, a college student in Virginia who, as you heard, is starting his last year of college. For Sudarshan, intention is really important. That's why he has a word to associate with each semester of his college experience.
the word that I've assigned to the first semester and remember it for is independence. It was the first time in a lot of different areas of my life, like just going down the list. It was like physical living. It's the first time living away from family for an extended period of time. First time like transporting on my own rather than in a car. I was walking and biking everywhere. First time with food. It was like not homemade food. It was outside food,
Yeah.
and I had to find my own sources of food. It was like the first time with free time. You have a lot more time and a lot more like uh, ability to figure out how to use that time, and you have complete freedom to choose who you're with, and you're not really bound by just who you used to physically live close to or be in your classes. So really, that last point was probably the biggest thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Independence meant that I could choose my own path for the first time.
Do you remember what expectations you had of college when you were going in?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous about going to college. I it was a little strange for me because I was coming out of a year and a half break at home from around March 2020 to August 2021. And so I was making the double jump from college or from high school to college and from remote to in person
Mm-hmm.
and from COVID to coming back from COVID all at the same time. So I was making double jump or a triple jump. And so it was unique, but what stayed the same was that I didn't know if I could trust or be familiar with or find a community that I could feel some sort of belonging with at a new place with people I didn't know if I could relate to. That was the biggest thing. Trusting that there would be those who were like minded was the biggest initial hurdle for me.
Yeah.
But I think that comes as soon as I went to college and I started to find people like starting from my own roommate who it turns out, funny story, you can usually choose your roommate, and obviously all the friends I would have chosen had chosen each other, so I had nobody left to choose. So I had to go to the roommate matchmaking website for the university. You can fill in your own preferences and choose the preferences for your roommate that you would like. And me and this one person had I think an 88% match, and that's because we both wanted to sleep early. We both didn't go out at nights, and we had no like terribly wrong habits. We both like were not likely to invite people over. So those things made it so much easier because you find one person who shares the same values as you, then it makes it a lot easier for you to follow your own values. That was really special. He was a swimmer. Woke up early, slept early. He both earlier than me. He slept at like 10:30, so it was really awesome and inspiring to have one person who was really disciplined because it makes
Yeah.
it a lot easier for you.
And what were some of the values that were surfacing for you that were like really important going into this first year of college?
What was most important was discipline,
Discipline.
for sure. Because with so much more ability to choose your own lifestyle comes the danger of desires and the lower in you taking over,
Mm-hmm.
or the indiscipline running rampant, because you're no longer under the implicit discipline of your parents being right next to you as the difference. You're now living with your own peers and are now responsible for your own everything. There's no one really monitoring you. So if you're suddenly living with your peers and are not monitored and are in charge of everything about your lifestyle, then really it's your discipline that determines your ability to engage with your responsibilities, which are still the same, class assignments, but it's really in charge of your peace as well. And so that was huge, especially in colleges of today, in which it's actually indiscipline that runs the majority of the college and of people's lifestyles. That was the one thing that I was initially really taken aback by. Was I had come from some sort of a bubble in which I was not really exposed to a lot of different people's lifestyles. And when I went there and I was suddenly seeing people going out really late at night and engaging in not very um, responsible actions and things like that, and themselves feeling the effects of it the next day when they couldn't think properly or wake up easily and were missing classes. It makes it so much more important for you to be engaged in the opposites because, so that you're not affected by your surroundings. And that's really what it means, that the discipline really pulls the independence, because you're seeing people do something different than you and still need to have the strength to follow through with your intention. That's
Mm.
what independence means. And for the first time, you need to have the strength to accept others who are acting differently and have the courage to still follow through with what you are there to do. You need to know your purpose well enough to act differently. Once I learned that, and once everyone realizes that their purpose is their purpose and their life is theirs to live, then it doesn't matter how what others are doing or how they're seen for living differently, for prioritizing sleeping early when your friends are asking you to go out to the
To a
party or
party or
something.
something. Hmm.
Yeah,
Do you feel like you had that clarity of purpose in that first semester of college? Or was it kind of learning on the go, like a trial by fire, if you will? What supported you in coming to that space?
definitely some combination of both. It required some clarity going in about the purpose of college, because it's easier to follow through on a purpose that you came in with than
Hmm.
to try to midway reorient your purpose in the middle of a tough situation.
Almost like a preventative approach. If you have it prepared and locked and solid in advance, going into the situation's that much easier.
Yeah, yeah. One piece of advice that I got going in from an amazing teacher of mine, his name is Sumanji. He told me when I was asking him about how to best approach this college situation, he said that the majority go to college for enjoyment, but it's the really special ones who go to college for transformation. And that's why the majority will remember the enjoyment of college with some vague nostalgia, and think that those were the best days of their life because of how they enjoyed. But that will always leave it a shallow experience. But it's the rare few who will remember college for how much they were transformed during college. And that makes all the difference. And that is a way deeper, more meaningful way to use those 4 years, so that it's not just wishing that you were that age and doing those things, but you can feel the effects even afterwards. You can feel how meaningful it was even decades later, rather than just feeling some vague memory about it. So that's that piece of advice, that I'm here for transformation, made it so that when I was in all those situations, I was out at some point um, at night because I'd been pulled along with some friend, and then I saw how meaningless uh, it was to be outside because at night, because the, all the people there were there just to escape the the situation of being alone at in their room at night, and they were not really living slowly enough to realize that what they were doing was not meaningful. Realizing that those experiences would not be meaningful, and that they seemed to be a waste of time. Once you experience something like that once, you can see there was no joy in that experience, and you can hold on to that memory. Yes, I saw that once. I've seen something like that once. There was no joy in that. That sort of logic of, is there joy there? Is there joy there? That you can apply to food, traveling, family, movies, anything, any experience, and see, was there ever sustained joy from any of those experiences, can be applied to the college experience as well. And from that, you can pretty clearly see where the joy is and where the joy is not. And because happiness is like a multiple choice test, right? Once you cross out all the wrong answers, the right answer is probably one of the ones remaining. And it was finding joy in the satsanga and in the community of like-minded people, and my morning disciplines, that really showed me what I should invest more in.
Hmm. You mentioned a lot about like some of the challenges people you were spending time with were experiencing, and I know a lot of college students and a lot of parents of college students worry about their kid finding people like in this new environment and space. I'm wondering, what was that like for you? How did you find your people during this time of transition?
Yeah, the most important thing first was finding the right roommate. They shape your lifestyle more than you think, because subconsciously, when you're not clear about what you should do next, you will most likely follow someone who's close to you and what they are doing. If they're shutting off the lights to sleep early, then you're more likely to do the same. If they're getting out of bed, you're more inspired to do the same. My roommate was exercising for an hour or two every day. I was more inspired to do whatever I could too. And so that was most important. The second is the people on your hall, the friends the high school friends you came with. I came with maybe 40, 50, 60 people I already know, because so much of high school also went to the same university. And so really it was figuring out which people were living the values that you wanted to develop, who is living the virtues that you want to imbibe, and be around them. Be around people who are more disciplined than you, or more clear than you, more cheerful than you, more independent than you, and then they naturally attract people who want to be like them, and then you'll naturally attract people who want to be like you.
Sudarshan also emphasized that finding community through clubs and organizations was a really helpful way for him to find similar people oriented by similar purpose. For him, it was the Hindu Students' Council. I'm finding myself curious about what was a challenge for you that first year.
There was one big challenge for me in the first month or two. It was actually finding consistent vegetarian food options that I could rely on or trust. Because that's also not even a given everywhere, to find any variety of vegetarian. Or for me, sort of some of that time, um, I was looking for vegan options as well, and it was not easy at all. And with that, a lot of cafeteria people were not familiar with that, or not really open to asking. I learned that they have a really tough job too, because they're there for the entire day and dealing with people asking them the same question again and again and again. Is this vegetarian? Does this have egg? Does this have gluten? And so they were kind of tired of a lot of the questions I was asking them every day for things that I'd never seen, um, tofu that looked like turkey before, or tofu that looked like chicken before. And so I was concerned. And so that led to some conflict in the cafeteria. But with some understanding and empathy of what their experience was like, I was able to more easily uh, trust the system, and and be okay with others not understanding where I was coming from. And that really that really helped me in my understanding and empathy for others in what was, for the first time, my an experience with a really diverse group of people.
Yeah.
And so that was one huge thing, and it was really amazing to be able to empathize with a really seemingly different group of people, but actually not that different, on the inside.
Before we jump back into the rest of this conversation, I wanted to let you know about our open homes. So on August 29th, September 7th, and September 16th, we're opening the virtual doors to the Chinmaya Mission Niagara community. So whether you're new or curious about spirituality, or you're a seasoned seeker, these open homes are a perfect way to explore what makes our community and offering so special. And in these open homes, which are absolutely free, we're introducing the exciting lineup of 2024 and 2025 courses. These are courses that meet weekly, which are carefully designed to meet the needs of this diverse community. So if you're interested in developing your understanding of Vedanta, or just really craving an opportunity to be in group discussion with like-minded folks, there's something for you here. And the open home is a great way to just get a taste of what we offer, you know? So some of our guides who teach our classes will be sharing their wisdom and answering your questions. So again, we'd love to have you join one of our open homes. You can get more information on our website at chinmayaniagara.com. Just scroll all the way down on the page. You'll see the registration link, and it's included in the show notes. We make it super easy for you. Back to our conversation with Sudarshan.
There was one other experience in that first year, which was trying to keep all of my same daily routine disciplines in a shared living space. Because now there's only so many places that you can sit quietly in the morning, reflect on something, or try to engage in some repetition of a mantra, or try to watch your morning inspiration. Uh, and there were times when I would go in there, and I'd be sitting in my morning contemplation class, and the janitors would come by and they would be whispering, is this guy sleeping? But that happened a few times. And I had to like try not to flinch because but that's real training. What I realized was keeping your consistent routine and discipline in an environment in which that is not easy. It should not be seen as a burden, or a problem. It should be seen as training, because if you can do it there, you can do it almost anywhere. If it's a tough place to do it. And so that I found was the same with my nature walks. Like it was a strange concept to many that someone is walking somewhere without a destination. Learning to do that, no matter what people thought, was so freeing. And that was another huge initial roadblock, but there was a resolution to it as well, overcoming that. And so those were some of the ways that independence expressed itself in throughout that first semester and first year.
What are you looking forward to about this upcoming year?
Hmm. I think there are a lot of new opportunities as well. I'm I'm actually going to be leading now as the president of Hindu Student Council, so looking to see how I can help there, and really reflecting and understanding the best possible career paths for my personality. I know that's another big area of question and concern, and for a lot of students is if they're not coming in with very much clarity on what is the best career path, field, role for their for themselves, and because they don't have that many experiences in a variety of fields coming in, and so they're not even sure what major to choose. I wasn't sure what major to choose until I went through like a detailed personality book and scientifically chose the right one, which is systems engineering. So all of those things, it's going to be make for a nice journey of reflection and serving more, and really finding myself, and really what the amazing part about college is that every semester is like coming back to Hogwarts on the train. You're coming back for another semester, and you don't know what it's going to be like, because no matter what your plan is, like the universe's plan is even better. And what you end up learning every semester, and how you end up growing because of the challenge that are presented with the professor that challenges you to grow, or the assignments that require more patience and letting go of your expectations of how long things will take, with the roommates or neighbors who are making a little more noise than you thought, and you have to practice acceptance, with being moving to an apartment and learning to not insist on a particular unit because that one is special, but you don't end up getting it. You know, the transportation is taking longer. All those sorts of things. What seems like pinpricks in the beginning actually turns out to be the opportunities for growth that you remember in the long run. Things like uh, all sorts of things. I couldn't get my apartment back the next year and had to move a little farther away, but that really helped me let go of my huge attachment to the convenience of being right next door to my class, and within walking distance. So it was in all sorts of things like that that have made every semester seem like the best semester yet. Starting from semester one, it was like feeling independence for the first time and not having to follow others, living for virtues as the purpose behind your classes and not the content of the classes. You know, having the courage to eat silently and eat alone when everyone is kind of just there for conversation. And that was a huge thing in semester three. Semester four was actively taking on discipline and in earlier classes, when the culture is to take later classes for to afford later sleeping, to actively take earlier responsibilities to challenge yourself in discipline. You know, on and on. Semester five with having the faith to let go when not everything is done at night, and having the faith that you'll be able to come back the next day, um, and then things will work out. And then this last semester with feeling the love of all the opportunities that have been provided to me, and trying to act out of fulfillment rather than for fulfillment. So every semester has been defined by the challenges that have been provided and how I ended up overcoming it. And so that's what I'm comforted and assured by.
Yeah, it's reminding me how Vivek always shares with us that our context is custom designed for our content. And it feels like every semester here has afforded you a custom designed context to enable that self development. It's just really, really cool to hear. I think we covered all of the bases I wanted to in terms of college related stuff. But selfishly, you're like on the podcasting team. So we're bringing one of the mysterious team members from behind the curtain and sharing your voice with our community. Can you tell me a little bit about what it has it been like participating on the Live Vedanta team? We're a pretty kind of independent, asynchronous squad of superheroes putting this audio content into the world to support people's self-development. Been one of the humans behind writing these detailed descriptions and those audio intros that I'm often reading to introduce a specific episode. What has that been like for you? What do you want to share with the people?
It has been such a rewarding experience, and it's really allowed me to literally live Vedanta, because the opportunity to go through those teachings at my own pace and then to reword them in such a way that it's personal to me and clear to someone else means that I really have to reflect and digest and assimilate it to be able to repackage it in a way that is palatable to someone else. And it's also given me such an opportunity to bring some creativity into that as well through creating different metaphors for this path, such as like chasing a mirage through the desert, or running a marathon and not treating life as a sprint but playing the long game, and all sorts of different ways for me to review my own life. It's been such a blessing, and one that I couldn't have even asked for. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And it seems that I've also discovered and rediscovered my love for writing and creative writing through this. It's given me such a great way to express that. So thank you for the team and all the listeners for giving me this chance to reflect on my own life through this seva.
And again, it has been so wonderful to hear from all of you. If you want to share a thought or your own story, you can always send us a message at hello@chinmayaniagara.com. And if you want to leave an audio voice note, maybe reflecting on your own experience with a meaningful transition, you can always drop us a short message at speakpipe.com/livevedanta. That's speakpipe.com/livevedanta. And who knows, maybe we'll share some of your notes in a future episode. If you liked or even loved what you've heard, we encourage you to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It allows more people to find our show. Or just share this episode with a friend. I'm curious what they think. Until next time, inspire, love, be.